everyone. I want to have a little bit different of a conversation today, but it's a conversation that I think is important and that we need to be having. And that is the conversation surrounding crystals. Over the last decade, the crystal industry has boomed into a billion-dollar industry, which is amazing in certain ways and really devastating in other ways. Now, I want to preface all of this by saying that the number one rule, I think, for any practitioner, healer, spiritualist, way shower, coach is to be authentic to yourself. I'm not going to tell you not to buy crystals. That's not my position to do so. I would, however, encourage people that are buying crystals to make sure that they are being ethically sourced to the best of your ability. There is a huge underground industry of very, very poor countries doing the mining of a lot of these crystals in very devastating conditions that often include the exploitation of children. And that funnels its way up to the crystal shops that we see popping up all over the place. When I got my crystal healing certification back in 2014, crystal shops were sort of hard to come by where I live. There were only a handful of them, and they didn't have access to all of the crystals that they have now, and the cost of crystals was quite different. Since it's become such an explosive market, competition is higher, which leads places to engage, oftentimes without them even knowing, in unethical practices of mining crystals. That is the nature of demand and supply. I rarely buy crystals anymore unless it's for a specific reason, if I'm gridding someone's house or if I have a client that has a specific issue that I think a particular crystal would be beneficial for them. Again, I'm not going to tell you not to buy crystals. That's not for me to do. That's for you to decide for yourself. But I am going to show you what I do now, which I have found is actually far more beneficial than any crystal that I have bought for a specific reason. And oftentimes, before I go to work on a client or grid somebody's house, I will ask them to do this practice so that they have something that is a super powerful talisman that is unique to them and the purpose that they are looking for. So essentially, it's just about finding something that has been gifted to you from the planet. I start by earthing, by grounding outside, shoes off, getting into a meditative state, whatever that looks like for you, and asking her for a gift. You can ask for something general. You can ask for something specific if you are looking for protection, if you're looking for support, if you're looking for some self-love, whatever it may be. You can just ask Mother Gaia what you would like your gift for. Now, while you're still in that semi-meditative state, you're going to go on a walk. Something, I can almost guarantee, will jump out at you on that walk. Now, it may not be a stone, it may be a stick, it may be a flower, it may be a stone, but there will be something that is a gift to you, specific to what you have asked for. And I can almost guarantee that that gift will hold more power than any crystal you can buy in a shop, because it is done with such an intention and such an asking and motivation of gratitude towards the planet that it will hold so much power. Because keep in mind, if you go to a crystal shop and you just say, I need a crystal for this thing, and you don't know where it came from or how it got to that shop, it's going to be carrying the energy of where it came from. And if it's coming from unethical minds, with unethical practices around the mining, it is going to hold all of that weight. It is essentially deteriorating the planet and the people that are collecting them. So you are counteracting, really, any sort of power in a positive way that you are looking for in that crystal. Now, that's not true of all crystals. Some crystals are harvested ethically, and they are great tools, great talismans, but not always. Here are some ways that you can maybe do better, I guess, about knowing whether or not something's been ethical. First of all, ask the shop owners where they source from. If they don't want to answer or they aren't sure, that's a red flag. If the crystals are priced significantly less than competitors, that's a red flag. That means they're getting them for cheaper, which means they're coming from a place that is likely unethical. Also, make sure that they are real crystals. There's been a huge influx of fake crystals coming into shops all over the place. Any quartz is going to be cold to the touch, even if it's in a hot room. Citrines are going to feel a little bit waxy. Also, keep in mind the color of the stone. If it is super vibrant to the point where you're like, oh wow, it's probably dyed and not natural. You can also do some research online. There's been a lot of articles that have been written recently surrounding the unethical practice of crystal mining and how to find ethically sourced crystals and real crystals. I hope this helps. I have a huge passion of taking care of the planet, and I think it's important that we have these conversations within our community around ethical practices, and especially in an industry that is moving into a place that is not super helpful for anyone involved. If you have any questions or want any clarification around the practice of finding gifts from the planet for yourself, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have, or offer any support to anyone as well. Otherwise, we will see you next week.